Welcome back to the Social Boost Lab podcast.
Episode 3 already.
It is. Well, on today's episode, we're going to be looking at some content marketing advice specifically for startups. Yeah, we found this great article in Forbes called...
Forbes is always a good source.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's called 5 Easy Steps to Make Your Startup's Content Marketing More Effective.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible how startups are really able to leverage content marketing to compete with these larger, more established companies. For example, instead of having to spend tons of money on traditional advertising, a startup could create a blog post, something really comprehensive that attracts potential customers. And it continues to educate them for months or even years to come.
Exactly. And I think that's a really great point you bring up. Like, one piece of content can have this long-lasting impact, which makes it a super cost-effective approach, especially for startups who might not have a ton of money to throw around.
Absolutely. I mean, it all comes down to providing value up front. Instead of interrupting people with ads, you're offering something useful, whether that's, informative blog posts or videos, or maybe some insightful research. And this helps to establish your brand as a thought leader and build trust with potential customers.
Right. It's almost the opposite of just trying to sell people on something.
For sure. So the first and most crucial step is knowing your audience.
Yeah, understanding who you're talking to. It just seems so fundamental to pretty much any type of marketing.
Absolutely. Forbes really emphasizes creating detailed buyer personas. And these personas go beyond just basic demographics. They include things like, what are their motivations? What are their pain points? How do they behave online?
So it's not just like their age or gender or income level. It's like, what are they actually going through?
Exactly. It's getting into their heads. Like, where do they hang out online? What are they trying to achieve? What challenges are they facing? What kind of content will actually resonate with them?
So it's really about going beyond those surface level characteristics and delving deeper into their values, their beliefs, their aspirations, right? That seems really crucial if you want to make content that truly resonates.
Exactly. Let's say, for instance, that you're a startup and you're launching a new productivity app. So by creating detailed buyer personas, you might discover that your ideal customer is actually a busy entrepreneur, someone who values efficiency, but also really struggles with that work-life balance.
Okay, that's a great example. And with that knowledge in hand, you wouldn't just be creating content about like the features of your app. You'd be focusing on how the app can actually help these entrepreneurs streamline their workflows, save time, and ultimately achieve that better balance.
Exactly. You'd be addressing their specific pain points.
Yeah.
Offering solutions that align with their values and aspirations. And mastering content marketing actually takes it a step further by suggesting tools
like Google Analytics and social media insights as great starting points.
Yeah, they're a great starting point for getting a sense of your audience's demographics and their general online behavior. But to really delve deeper into those psychographics, you're going to need to go a bit deeper.
Okay, so what are some other methods that startups can use to gain these deeper insights?
Well, surveys and polls can be very effective for this kind of thing. Just ask your audience directly about their challenges, what their goals are, what they're really looking for in a solution. And there are tools out there like SurveyMonkey or Typeform that make creating engaging surveys super easy.
Oh, that's a great idea. Direct feedback from your target audience. That's invaluable.
It really is. Another powerful method is just conducting interviews. Just talking directly to your ideal customers, one-on-one. It allows you to gather this really rich, qualitative data that you can't get from those other sources.
It's about having conversations, not just collecting data points, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I imagine all this in-depth understanding that you gain about your audience will ultimately inform every aspect of your content strategy.
Oh, absolutely. From the topics you choose, the format you use, even down to the tone and style of your writing.
Yeah, it's about speaking directly to their hearts and minds. Now, once you have a solid understanding of your target audience, our source emphasizes the importance of setting clear content goals, basically stating that your goals will end up shaping your entire content strategy.
Oh, that's absolutely crucial. Without clearly defined goals, your content marketing efforts, they'll lack direction and focus.
Okay, so it's like setting sail without a destination in mind, right?
Precisely.
Yeah, and the source specifically mentions the importance of setting SMART goals. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
Yeah, that's a fantastic framework for making sure that your goals are well-defined and actionable.
But how does that actually apply to content marketing? It seems like you could very easily just say something vague, like, I want to increase brand awareness. But that's not very actionable.
You're absolutely right. That's why the SMART framework is so crucial. So instead of saying we want to increase website traffic, a SMART goal would be something like, we want to increase website traffic from entrepreneurs in the tech industry by 20% in the next quarter by publishing 2 SEO-optimized blog posts per week.
Oh, wow. Okay, I see how that's a lot more actionable. It's not just this kind of vague goal.
It gives you a clear target to aim for and a way to actually track your progress.
I like that. So we've talked about knowing your audience and then also setting these SMART goals. What comes after that?
Well, once you know who you're talking to and what you want to achieve, it's time to start creating that compelling content. But Forbes also makes a really interesting point about finding a unique angle.
What do they mean by a unique angle? Especially when it comes to startups. It seems like a lot of them are competing in really crowded markets.
That's a good point. It's about going beyond the surface level. You need to find a fresh perspective, something that sets you apart from the competition.
So, for example,
let's say you're a tech startup. You could leverage your team's expertise to create original research reports, or maybe data visualizations that provide valuable insights to your audience.
So you're really showing them something unique in the context of content marketing for startups.
Sure. So let's say your startup is launching a new email marketing service. A SMART goal could be something like, generating 100 new leads through your blog in the next quarter.
Okay, so that's specific, it's measurable, it's achievable, it's relevant to your business, and it has that clear deadline.
Exactly. By setting those SMART goals, you're setting yourself up for success.
And it gives you a clear benchmark for measuring your progress.
Right. Without measurable goals, you have no way of knowing what's working and what's not.
And our source also highlights the importance of delivering real value to your audience. It stresses that people consume content for a reason, so it needs to be worth their time.
Oh, absolutely. Gone are the days of creating fluffy content just for the sake of having something to post.
Yeah, it's about providing those valuable insights, that actionable advice, or maybe even engaging stories that leave your audience feeling informed, entertained, or maybe even inspired.
Exactly. Think about the problems that your audience is facing, the questions they have, even the aspirations they hold.
Yeah, and how can your content help them solve those problems, answer those questions, or achieve those goals?
That's the key to creating content that really resonates.
It's about putting your audience first and creating content that serves their needs.
Exactly. When you consistently deliver that kind of value, your audience will reward you with their attention, their engagement, and ultimately their loyalty.
And our source offers this really great analogy where it says to think of your content as a valuable resource. Whether it's an in-depth tutorial for those tech-savvy users or a compelling story that connects with them on an emotional level, it needs to be something they find valuable enough to share with others.
Yeah, that's a great way to think about it. Your content should be an asset, not just filler. Like, for example, if you're selling software, create tutorials, guides, and case studies that show how your software can actually help businesses improve their efficiency, productivity, and profitability.
Okay, and what if you're a financial advisor?
Well, then you would create content that helps people understand their finances, maybe make smarter investment decisions, and plan for their future.
So it's all about providing real value, not just empty promises.
Right.
So speaking of assets, our source also emphasizes the importance of experimenting with different content formats. And it really suggests thinking beyond just those traditional blog posts and exploring things like video, infographics, podcasts, even interactive content.
Yeah, that's a fantastic point. Different formats appeal to different audiences and serve different purposes.
And it's really about finding the right format to convey your message in the most effective way and engage that target audience.
Precisely. For example, if you're targeting a visually oriented audience, video or infographics might be a lot more effective than a lengthy blog post.
Yeah, that's a great point. Or if you're trying to reach a busy audience who prefer to consume content on the go, podcasts might be the perfect solution.
Exactly. It's all about meeting your audience where they are and delivering your content in a format that they'll find engaging and accessible.
And our source reminds us not to forget about repurposing existing content.
Oh, yeah, that's a super smart strategy, especially for startups who may have limited resources. Take a well-written blog post, for example. You could transform that into a script for a short video, an infographic that's packed with all the key takeaways, or even just a series of social media posts.
That's a great point. It's a great way to maximize the value of your content and reach a wider audience across different platforms.
Absolutely. Working smarter, not harder.
Exactly. Okay, so something else that this source mentions is the importance of consistency. So why is consistency so crucial in content marketing?
Well, I mean, consistency is key for building momentum, for establishing your brand as a reliable source of information, and even just improving your search engine optimization, SEO.
Okay, so there are lots of benefits to being consistent with your content.
Yeah, when you publish content on a regular basis, you're creating the steady stream of valuable information. And it keeps your audience engaged and keeps them coming back for more.
It's like building a habit for both you and your audience.
Exactly. When your audience knows they can expect fresh content from you regularly, they're more likely to stay engaged and become loyal followers.
And they're going to start seeing you as a reliable source of information, right?
Right. When you consistently deliver high-quality content, you build credibility and trust with your audience, and they start to see you as an authority in your industry, and ultimately a go-to resource for valuable insights.
So it's about becoming that trusted voice that people turn to for guidance and information.
Exactly.
I didn't realize consistency also played a role in SEO.
Oh, yeah, it plays a big role. Search engines favor websites that regularly publish fresh, relevant content.
So consistency not only benefits our audience, but also helps us get noticed by those search engines.
Exactly. When you consistently create and publish high-quality content, you're sending signals to search engines that your website is active, relevant, and authoritative.
And that can lead to higher rankings and search results, right?
Right. And higher rankings lead to more organic traffic to your website.
Okay, so it sounds like consistency is really important, but how can startups actually maintain consistency, especially when they have such limited resources?
Well, it's definitely challenging, but one of the best things you can do is create a content calendar and stick to it. Block out time in your schedule for content creation and treat it like a non-negotiable appointment.
So like actually schedule it in your calendar.
Exactly. It's also helpful to batch create content whenever you can. Set aside a few hours each week or each month to create multiple pieces of content at once.
So it's about being proactive and getting ahead of the game.
Right. And then, if you're really struggling to find the time, you can always consider outsourcing some of that content creation to freelancers or agencies. There are a lot of talented content creators out there who can help you create high-quality content on a regular basis.
Yeah, that's a great point. Now let's talk about another challenge that I think a lot of startups face when it comes to content marketing, and that's measuring results.
Right. It's one thing to create and publish content, but it's another thing altogether to actually know whether it's achieving the results you want.
So how can we actually effectively measure the success of our content marketing efforts?
Well, measuring content marketing success involves tracking key performance indicators, KPIs. And these KPIs need to be aligned with your goals.
Okay, so if our goal is to increase website traffic, what KPIs should we be tracking?
You would want to track things like unique visitors, page views, time on site, and bounce rate.
Okay, and what if our goal is to generate leads?
Then you would track things like form submissions, downloads, email signups, requests for demos.
And I guess we can also track sales conversions, right?
Exactly. You want to see how many of the leads generated from your content marketing efforts are actually converting into paying customers.
So to calculate our content marketing return on investment, ROI, I guess we need to compare the cost of our content marketing efforts to the revenue generated.
Right. And I know it can be a pretty complex calculation, but there are tools and formulas out there that can help you with that.
So even though it might seem complicated, it's definitely important to track our ROI, right?
Oh, absolutely. Measuring your content marketing ROI is crucial for demonstrating the value of your efforts and securing buy-in from stakeholders.
Right. It allows you to justify your budget, identify areas for improvement, and ultimately optimize your strategy for maximum return.
Exactly.
So now let's dive into another really crucial aspect of content marketing, and that's tracking your progress and adapting your strategy as you go.
And this is where data and analytics really come into play. It's essential to monitor key metrics, things like your website traffic, time spent on page, conversion rates, even just your social media engagement.
Right. And these insights can help you understand what's working, what maybe needs improvement, and ultimately how to tailor your strategy for maximum impact.
Exactly. For example, if you notice a particular blog post is generating a ton of traffic, but very few leads, you might need to adjust that call to action.
Yeah, that makes sense. Or if you find that your social media engagement is kind of dropping off, you might need to experiment with different content formats or even posting times.
Exactly. Now, it's important to remember that simply creating great content isn't enough. You also need to promote it and optimize it effectively.
Yeah, because even if it's the best content in the world, if nobody sees it, it's not really doing much good, is it?
Exactly. You need to target your ads carefully to make sure you're reaching the right audience. So platforms like Google Ads and Facebook Ads allow you to target people based on demographics, interests, behaviors, and even location.
So you're making sure that your ads are seen by people who are actually likely to be interested in your product or service.
Exactly. You don't want to waste your money showing your ads to people
They're
who
the-
are never going to convert.
Now, I know we've talked a lot about the tactical side of content marketing, but it seems like there's also a really important human element to it.
Absolutely. In today's digital landscape, consumers are constantly bombarded with marketing messages, from all directions.
Huh.
To cut through all that noise and make a lasting impression, you need to build genuine connections with your audience.
It's about humanizing your brand and showing your audience that there are real people behind the logo.
Exactly. Engage with your audience on social media, respond to comments, even messages. Participate in those online discussions.
Yeah, show them that you're listening, that you care, that you're invested in building a real relationship with them.
Precisely. When you build trust, you ultimately build loyalty.
And our source suggests incorporating things like open-ended questions, polls, even discussion prompts, just to encourage interaction with your content.
Yeah, that's a great way to spark those conversations and get your audience thinking. For example, you could ask your audience to share their thoughts on a particular industry trend, or even their favorite tips for using your product or service.
Oh, I like that. It's really about creating that two-way dialogue and showing your audience that you value their input.
Exactly. Content marketing is not just about talking at your audience. It's about talking with them.
And building trust. That takes time and effort, but it's an essential investment for any startup looking to establish that strong brand and build that loyal following.
Absolutely. Trust is the foundation of any successful relationship, and that's true even in the world of content marketing.
Yeah, that's a great point. So before we officially conclude this episode, let's take some time to reflect on those key takeaways and maybe even touch on the future of content marketing for startups.
Sounds good. I mean, the digital landscape's constantly evolving. Content marketing is no exception. New platforms emerge, trends shift, consumer behavior changes.
So what are some of those emerging trends that startups should keep an eye on?
Well, one trend that's gaining a lot of momentum is the rise of short-form video content. Platforms like TikTok and Instagram Reels have exploded in popularity. They offer such a dynamic and engaging way to connect with audiences.
Yeah, for sure. It's a format that really captures your attention quickly,
Hmm.
and it allows brands to showcase their personality in a really concise and impactful way.
Exactly. Short-form video is perfect for those behind-the-scenes glimpses, product demos, quick tips, just those entertaining snippets that really resonate with today's fast-paced digital consumption habits.
Right. People just don't have the attention span that they used to. Another trend that we've touched on a bit earlier is the increasing importance of personalization.
As consumers are just bombarded with more and more information these days, they're craving these personalized experiences that cater to their specific needs and interests.
Right. It's all about delivering the right message to the right person at the right time.
Precisely. Leveraging data and analytics is crucial. Understanding your audience, segmenting them effectively, and tailoring your content to resonate with each individual.
I think that's a really important point and something that we sometimes forget. Whether it's personalized email campaigns, dynamic website content, or even targeted social media ads, personalization is key for cutting through all that noise and building those meaningful connections.
Couldn't agree more. We've also talked quite a bit about the power of community building, and I think startups that can cultivate a loyal and engaged community around their brand have a significant advantage in the marketplace.
Absolutely. It's about creating a space where those customers can connect with each other, share their experiences, and feel like they're a part of something bigger.
Exactly. That sense of belonging fosters brand loyalty. It turns customers into advocates who are passionate about sharing your message with others.
That's a really great point. So as we look to the future of content marketing for startups, it's clear that authenticity and transparency are more important than ever.
Oh, absolutely. Consumers are way more discerning these days. They can spot inauthentic marketing tactics from a mile away.
It seems like it's crucial for startups to build that trust and credibility by being genuine in their interactions, transparent about their processes, and committed to delivering on their promises.
Right. Building those genuine relationships should be at the heart of every content marketing strategy.
Well said. Before we say goodbye, let's just reiterate that content marketing is such a powerful tool for startups.
It really is.
It's cost-effective. It can help you build brand awareness, generate leads, nurture relationships, and ultimately, it can drive business growth.
Yeah, and it's not about those quick fixes or shortcuts. It's about building a sustainable strategy that delivers long-term results.
And while the digital landscape may constantly be evolving, the fundamental principles of good content marketing remain the same.
Create valuable content that resonates with your audience. Promote it effectively. Track your progress. And adapt your strategy accordingly.
Great advice. We hope this episode has provided you with valuable insights and inspiration to really take your content marketing to that next level. We encourage you to share your thoughts, any questions you have, in the comment section below. And don't forget to connect with us on Instagram for more tips and behind-the-scenes content.
Thanks for listening.